Try to imagine if you had three dads and all three of them are total flops. High key flops. All three of them are just crap. Hello everyone, welcome back to Already Your Confessions with Anon. As usual guys, here, me and also our PO have changed. We'll be reading confessions from netizens, which means confessions from you all, from the weirdest, the most reckless, the scariest, the most disgusting or whatever it is, all anonymously. And for those of you who want to share your stories or weird experiences, you can join in too. The link is in the description of this video, or you can also find it in my Instagram bio. And don't forget to join my WhatsApp channel too, because there I'll share things about my life that I've never shared before, not on Instagram, TikTok or YouTube. If you're interested, you can join. The link is also in the video description. That's it. I just got home after getting my teeth scaled and polished, man. Does it look good or what? So white. Honestly, I just want some validation from you guys. Please comment something like, "Nol, your teeth are so handsome. Nol, smile again. So handsome." Is that okay? So my ego gets a boost and it all goes to my head. Hello Noel, let me introduce myself. My name is Lala, that's a pseudonym. I'm a girl and I just turned 17 yesterday. And just a disclaimer, I'm only here to share my story, bro. I don't mean to look for any kind of validation from anyone. My life story is full of plot twists, especially involving the family head Noel. Let's start with the first event, which is about my father. The first one, my biological father, my real biological father. This guy was really religious, Noel, but in a negative way, you know, extreme obsessed with religion. That's right. Noel, it's like all he did at home was worship non-stop, but he didn't balance it with working. Noel working. He didn't want to help and refused even when asked to clean the house. One day, my mom was really struggling with money and food, Noel, and because there was no other way, my mom had to borrow money from the neighbors. And do you know how my biological father reacted, Noel? When he found out, it was crazy. He just casually said, "Well, we'll definitely be given blessings by God if we pray diligently, so don't focus on worldly things. And what you're upset about is your wife borrowing money because she was desperate." It's crazy. What he meant was he was angry, Noel. He just doesn't like my mom working all the time, even though my mom works so hard just to meet our daily needs. Because this guy, he thinks that money can just fall from the sky. Noel. And my dad also likes to interpret the Quran according to his own understanding, even though he's not an expert at all. He even likes to make his own scripture from his interpretations. That's Noel. And because my mom was already fed up and emotionally exhausted with his religious fanaticism, they finally got officially divorced. Okay, but that's just part 1, Noel. Now let's move on to part 2. When I was around 3 to 5 years old, my mom met a new man and they got married. At first, everything was fine until I was blessed with a younger brother, and a few months after he was born, my stepdad started showing signs. Strangely, Noel, he started coming home late at night more often, and the household money started running low. Then one night, my mom caught him coming home at 2 a.m. with alcohol on his breath. Noel, my mom started to notice something was wrong. And every time he was asked about the money or why he liked to come home late at night, he always changed the subject. And the most memorable incident in my mind was when I was playing with my little brother on the porch of Noel's house. When I was about to take my little brother's toy, my small hand was slapped and hit really hard by this second father figure. And do you know what he said? He looked at me, Noel, and said, "Don't touch it. Who do you think you are?" I'm not even his child. Not only that, I was even held underwater in a big deep bathtub just because I complained to my mom about his behavior. Mr. Sinti. Since then, I was traumatized and never dared to get close to him again. No. Wow. You know, I just don't get it. How can an adult dare to do something this cruel to a little kid? Yeah, you realize that's a little kid, an innocent child who doesn't understand the world yet, and you dunk him in the bathtub? You should be in prison, damn it. This punishment, if I may say. The peak was the day when our house was visited by a debt collector. Nuel, meaning someone coming to collect their debts. It was about owing hundreds of millions in my mom's name, even though my mom never borrowed a single cent. And it turned out my mom's ID card was secretly secretly stolen and used by him to apply for online loans. And do you know what the money was used for, Anul? That's right, it was used for gambling while getting drunk. That bastard. And ever since his cover was blown, he became even more violent, Nool. He started daring to hit my mom and even me. I even saw with my own eyes my mom's head was slammed into the table until it bled. Oh my god, Sender, that's just crazy. Long story short, Nool, my mom had enough and they got divorced, and that bastard Nool, yeah, this guy, he ran away and left all those hundreds of millions in online loan debts for my mom to handle alone, Nool. Seriously, that's so cruel, man. Hundreds of millions and it's not even over yet, Nool. Now we're moving on to part 3. When I was in elementary school, my mom was actually already traumatized and didn't want to get married again, Nool. But somehow at that time, my mom got close to another guy. And honestly, this is where I did something stupid as a kid. Nool, I think that was my fault, Nool. Because when my mom said she didn't want to get married again, I cried and asked why she didn't want to get married again later. So I didn't have a father, mom, and it seems because she felt sorry for me wanting a father figure, my mom finally agreed to marry this guy, Nool, and that's when the suffering began. Part 3. Hell no, yeah, he wasn't as much of a jerk as the second dad who was violent and a gambler, but this third dad never provided for us. And he was extremely patriarchal. Nool, all the housework had to be done by my mom, and on top of that, my mom also had to work to support the household. Meanwhile, after work, he would go straight to sleep while my mom still had to manage the house, me, and my little brother. Nool, wow, what a trashy man, seriously. My father is garbage, a real jerk. He wouldn't pay for any of the household needs for me and my little brother. Nool, my mom was the one who paid for everything because she couldn't stand it anymore. In middle school, I begged my grandmother to let me live with her, and fortunately, my life was peaceful and normal for those 3 years. But every time memories of my childhood cross my mind, I can only cry alone in my room. I'm afraid to tell my friends because I'm scared they'll make fun of me. Even whenever I remember it, Nool, sometimes I end up hitting my own head. I know this sounds really dramatic, Kak Nool, but luckily this year I've started to let go and recover from that habit. It's not dramatic. It's not dramatic. You had 3 different dads and all 3 of them were jerks. And you also experienced such severe abuse from when you were little until you grew up, so it's understandable if you're traumatized and need a coping mechanism, even if it's not healthy. I understand. Like when you hit your head, I'm really sorry, but that's a normal thing, and you shouldn't feel like you deserve to be mocked for it. It's all your dad's fault. All of it is on them. But the nightmares keep coming back. When I started high school last year, Nool, my grandmother, told me to move back in with my third dad and my mom. I felt sorry for my mom being alone at home with no one to help her. For the sake of my mom and my younger sibling, I finally gathered the courage to go back to that house. And it's true, living with that extreme patriarchy is not pleasant at all. Nool, you need nerves of steel. I often argued with this third father figure and even broke things because I couldn't stand how he treated my mom like trash and a servant, Nool. Luckily, my little brother went to an Islamic boarding school since first grade, so he was spared this house's toxicity, Nool. Then last year, our financial situation hit rock bottom again, and I had only been living there for 2 months. Then my mom came into my room crying and apologized to me. And guess what, Nool? Believe it or not, Nool, it turned out my mom was pregnant again. Thank you. Tired, Ela, at that moment my body just froze. Nool, my body stiffened. I couldn't say a word. I felt like complaining, but it seemed wrong because that's my future sibling. But trying to be happy also didn't make sense. Because I knew very well, wow, my family's financial situation was really in bad shape, and at that time my mind was a complete mess, Nool. Until one day, a guest of my third father figure came to the house, and when I was bringing drinks to the front, I accidentally overheard their conversation. One sentence from my father's mouth made my heart feel like it was being stabbed over and over again, Nool, because he said, well, what's wrong with having a lot of kids? Having a lot of kids means a lot of blessings, right? So stupid, right? It's already 2026 and there are still people like this. People with such primitive thinking choose to have children, but they don't see their own kids as human beings, let alone as children, but rather as investment instruments. Or like saying kids are a blessing, that's so stupid. That's such a dumb and foolish way of thinking, in my opinion, Paranul. Sure, maybe it's a blessing for you who just freeloads, but for my mom, it's not like that at all. Hearing that, I could only stay silent while holding back tears, Nul, because if I responded, it would just turn into a fight. But just so you know, Nul, my mom's C-section delivery costs yesterday were paid entirely with her own money, plus some help from my grandma. My so-called dad didn't spend a single cent, not even for the delivery. Even when I asked for money for school needs like tuition fees, nothing. His facial expression looked so reluctant and stingy about spending money. That's how it is, Nul. If I think about it, my life feels like a gathering place for all kinds of guys, red flags and all. By the way, Kak Nul, this year when I got my ID card, I immediately made up my mind to look for a part-time job so I can add to my own pocket money and help pay for my little siblings' Islamic boarding school, because the only one paying for it is my mom, Nul. My dad is useless. I don't even know what his purpose is. Anyway, thank you so much, Nul. Please pray for me so I can get a decent job. Thank you for reading my story. That's fucking insane. Imagine she's just 17, she barely turned 17, still so young, in 11th grade. Instead of thinking about being happy, about where she wants to go to college, about her dreams, she's already faced with this painful reality at 17. Instead of thinking about having fun with her friends, she's already thinking about finding a job to help her family, her younger sibling, and so on. Oh my God, Sender, all I can do is offer my sincerest prayers for you, Sender, and for everyone else. I ask you to please help pray for Sender too. Hopefully, her life will be made easier by God in the future and her fortune will always be abundant. And praise God, she can find true happiness, free from burdens. Amen, Sender. Yeah, basically for all of you, if you don't have kids yet but you want to have kids, don't be selfish. Don't just think about it for the sake of love, you know. Don't think like, oh, I love my husband and my husband loves me too. Let's have a kid. But both of you still think like kids, and financially, you both aren't ready yet. Don't force yourself to have kids. The one who will suffer is your child. You as parents, you can decide to have kids whenever you want, but as children, they can't choose which family or parents they're born into. Yeah. So at least if you want to have kids, learn first, learn about parenting, make sure you're mentally ready to have children, okay? My God, that first story earlier, ugh, what do you all think? How do you guys feel about it? Annoyed, right? I was really annoyed reading that first story, it made me angry. Okay guys, before we continue to the second story, I just want to let you know that every day at 7:30 p.m. I go live. I'll be going live on YouTube. Yeah, live on YouTube on the Nul Alexander channel. Over there. I'll be reading confessions to you guys like I just did, but the difference is it's live. And I'll also be listening to confessions. Confessions directly from you, straight from the source.
My dad once ate my poop because he thought it was chocolate.
This is the right age.
When I was 7 years old, if I'm not mistaken, I was pooping, and the poop suddenly fell to the floor.
And then it hit the floor hard. Yeah, really hard, you know?
Then my grandma thought it was chocolate from me.
She ate it because she really couldn't smell it.
No, she said there was no smell.
Okay. Is it really weird? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, same here. We're also going to have fun, play games together, watch movies together, laugh, joke around, and so on. So, for all of you, don't forget to join IB on this channel every evening at 7:30, okay? Hi Noel, I'm one of your cute fans. You're really handsome, but maybe there's a little bit of prettiness in you too, haha. So tonight I want to tell a story about a childhood mistake of mine that had really serious consequences. But honestly, when I think about it again, it's kind of funny, even though it was bad. This happened a long time ago, Noel, when I was 13 years old and now I'm just 17. So it was only about 4 years ago. Not that long ago, right, Noel? The thing is, my grandfather passed away. And this is the reason, if you count it, he should be 98 years old now and still healthy. But yeah, what can we do? Because of his cute and creative grandchild's mischief, he ended up having to leave this world first. He died before his time, Nool. Huh. It's not funny, Tai. So at that time, my grandpa had just come home from the hospital because he was unwell, Nool. He would sleep for a really long time, from 9 in the morning until 11 at night before he woke up. And when he woke up, he just remembered that he hadn't taken his medicine yet. Since I was sleeping in my grandpa's room to keep him company, he slowly walked to the drawer for his medicine and then woke me up. He asked me for help, Nool, to get him a glass of water from the kitchen. And yeah, I went to the kitchen while still half asleep. And while I was pouring water into the glass, my eyes accidentally saw a small, still full bottle of eucalyptus oil on the kitchen table. That's when my mischievous mind started working, Nool. And without thinking twice, just out of curiosity to see his reaction, I opened the bottle cap, then poured all of it into the glass. I stirred it, I shook it until the water got a bit cloudy and the smell was really strong. And after that, I served it to my grandpa, Nool. Then, with an innocent face, I went back to the room and gave the glass to my grandpa. And I really didn't expect it at all, Nool, because my grandpa is old and maybe his sense of smell isn't sharp anymore. Unexpectedly, he just drank the water with his medicine in one strong gulp until it was all gone, Nool. Even though the water was cloudy, I was shocked. At that point, I started to panic a bit because he actually swallowed all of it. And a while later, Grandpa suddenly dropped his glass and it shattered all over the floor. He immediately started gasping, Nool, what a little demon. He looked like he was having trouble breathing, Nool, like someone who was choking. And at that moment, I just remembered that Grandpa has a pretty bad history of asthma. Can you imagine that? Severe asthma, plus drinking a whole bottle of eucalyptus oil. I immediately started looking for the inhaler or whatever that asthma spray thing is called in the desk drawer. But because I was panicking, I just kept searching and couldn't find it, Nool. So, since Grandpa was already collapsed on the floor and clutching his chest, I ended up running to my parents' room while screaming hysterically, acting all scared. Seriously, that was like the devil's spawn. I'm not joking. I know you're still 17, but by saying here that you were hysterical, acting scared like that, it actually shows that you weren't really scared, but you were just pretending to be scared so your family wouldn't accuse you of anything. You're cruel, crazy. This story isn't funny. Why are you laughing? You said it's hilarious when you remember it, but there's nothing funny about it. You have no empathy as a human being. Even from the start, I was already thinking, you were 13 years old and could do something like this. Being 13 isn't like being 4 years old. At 13, you were already in middle school. You should have been in 7th or 8th grade. And your brain should have developed a bit by then, even though you were still dumb, like I see now. But fine, I was like, okay, 13 years old. Now you're 17 years old. I expected more from you. I hoped that you would have empathy, that you would feel guilty, and that you would want to confess this sin, like you would go to confession and want to apologize to your grandfather who's already gone. But so far, from what I've read in this story, I don't see any remorse or guilt at all. Any feeling of guilt? Where's the feeling of guilt? Don't you feel anything at all? When your mom and dad ran to the room, Grandpa wasn't moving at all. Isn't it crazy, Noel, how fast it all happened? But one thing's for sure, I would never be stupid enough to admit that I was the one who did it. Putting on a convincing crying face, I just told them like, Dad, Mom, Grandpa suddenly had an asthma attack. I already looked for his inhaler in the drawer, but it wasn't there. Whoa, guys, I messed up. This person isn't stupid. This person is aware. This person is a demon, he's just a psychopath. Yeah, honestly, can you the police or someone find this person? Because honestly, I can't do it. I really can't at all. This is an anonymous confession, so I have no way of knowing who the person is. But I don't know if this story is real or fake. If it's fake, you're really crazy. If this story is fake, you're really messed up. Because why would you imagine weird shit? Are you imagining yourself as the Dark Lord, the Lord of Death or something? That's crazy. You're messed up. Yeah. And on that day, my grandfather officially stopped breathing forever. Hehe. I can still laugh, ding. But looking back now, I kind of regret it, Noel. But honestly, my grandfather used to love taking me out, and he was really generous, especially when giving me pocket money. So now, when I'm broke and don't have any money, I really miss my grandpa's money. I miss the days when I could just ask and he'd give it to me right away. It was so nice, honestly. And yeah, for what I did back then, I hope no one copies me. And I hope you viewers out there don't bash me in the comments, because I'm actually really sensitive. If I end up crying, you'll be the ones dealing with it. Hehehe, whatever. Whatever, damn it. What the fuck do you expect? You expect us not to bash you after you sent in such a messed up story like this? You're an idiot! Whoa. I'm so angry. Sorry, chat. Sorry, I'm really angry, damn it. Crazy! This is rage baiting. I'm sure this is fake, guys. Or is it real? Oh, man? I don't know. Yeah, bye, Noel. Thank you so much for reading my long story. Sorry if my explanation was a bit roundabout, but I really hope you can read this and give me some advice, Noel. Bye, pig! Wow, I think this video will get limited ads like the last one. I won't earn anything or get ads from it. Wow, it's me. Wow, you asshole. Wow, doesn't this person deserve to be called out, chat? I mean, like, this can't be real, right? Are there really people who have absolutely no empathy like this? Your grandpa was good to you ever since you were a kid. He spoiled you, cared for you, gave you money, bought you things. But you, whether it was on purpose or not, did that to your grandpa and don't feel guilty or want to apologize. You don't even want to ask him for forgiveness. You will never see heaven either in life or after death. You're going straight to hell. You're not seeing any heaven, bro. You won't meet God. You're going straight to the devil. Maybe you're already a devil, which explains this. I don't know. Maybe it's a devil confessing to me, chat. I don't know. Okay, that's the end of today's episode, kid. Honestly, I'm really annoyed with the second story. The first story annoyed me too. But with the second story, I think I'm even more annoyed. I don't know why. In the first story, he's the victim. In the second story, he's the perpetrator, damn. It hurts so much, it feels like I've been biting Poe non-stop. Sorry, Poe. You became the victim, damn. Fuck you. Alright guys, thank you to all of you who watched from the beginning to the end. And if you really did watch from start to finish, can you try it? Comment Baba. Because with that, I'll know who among you really likes to watch my content from start to finish and supports me to keep being a content creator. Alright, thank you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share this video with all your friends, your family, your pets, and even your plants. That's all, and see you next time. See you in the next episode. Bye.